The news that supermarket giant Woolworths will enter the $36 billion hardware and home improvements market has sparked renewed debate about the growing retail power of Woolies and its rival Coles. Between them, the two companies already boast a strong presence not only in groceries and hardware, but petrol, liquor, hotels and even gaming. But has this led to higher or lower prices? It's a highly emotive issue, with the National Competition and Consumer Commission caught in the crossfire of intense debate. Business editor Greg Hoy reports.
The public have had enough. Their blood is boiling, and I think they want to see some action from the ACCC and the other government regulators.
Delivering the daily bread and groceries is big business, financial crisis or no financial crisis, especially for the supermarkets, controlling around 70% of Australia's $80 billion grocery sector. Wesfarmers-owned Coles and Australia's largest retailer, Woolworths, where food and liquor earnings rose 17.4% this year, with total group revenues of a whopping $49 billion and a record profit of $1.84 billion.
I'd have to say that it was one of our better years. There's no doubt about that.
Great news for shareholders, as was announcement of a new growth opportunity, with joint ventures into wholesale hardware distribution and big box retailing of hardware and home improvements, a plum $36 billion market where already rival Wesfarmers Bunnings stores are strong with a 20% market share.
Being a business of our size, it's really important that we do two things. Firstly, we do diversify, don't have all of our eggs in one basket. But secondly, even though they are separate eggs, they get equal input from the business to make sure that we really do focus in each of those areas to really continue to understand what our customers want and deliver to that.
Coles and Woolworths need to show growth, and they do that by spreading their tentacles in other segments. That is all part of the process of increasing their dominance in the market, increasing dominance so that they increase their ability to raise prices.
I think this is another concerning move by one of the mega giants of the retail sector in this country, looking to squeeze out the independent retailers in the hardware sector, and certainly the duopoly rolls on from food into hardware.
I think they are largely populist comments.
The chairman of the ACCC, Graham Samuel.
The ACCC doesn't respond to those sort of things in any sense other than to say we subject every move by every operator in the market to rigorous analysis.
Woolies and Coles are looking for sites all over Australia. Now Woolies are looking at hardware, and they're seriously looking to block out competition wherever they can. They really want full control of the retail sector. I would say the ACCC have been, should I say, remarkably passive and unwilling to take cases up.
Woolworths insists it will not squeeze out small operators but will work with them. But the move into hardware follows the big chain's expansion into petrol retailing, where the two already control almost half the market.
The effect of Woolworths and Coles coming into the petrol business has in fact reduced the cost of petrol in Australia. And, you know, it's been studied time and time again.
Initially prices were lower, but over time they knocked out the independents.
University of New South Wales Professor Frank Zumbo is on the Trade Practices Committee of the Law Council of Australia and has served on several government trade committees.
The concern with the petrol market is that Coles Woolworths, along with the major oil companies, control 93% of the retail market. That gives them enormous pricing power. What they do is they act as a cosy club, pushing prices up, and now we're seeing inflated petrol prices on a regular basis.
Under various brand names in liquor retailing, Coles and Woolworths now have around 45% of the market. Then there's hotels and poker machines, of which Woolworths is the biggest Australian operator, department stores, where with Big W, Kmart and Target they have around 60.5% of the market. Woolworths has recently bought into beer brewing and other liquor. There's electronics, credit cards and mobile phones, with restrictions stopping them competing in pharmacies to be reviewed by the federal government next year.
As we've found elsewhere around the globe, that allowing major retailers to to get into pharmaceuticals have lowered the cost of pharmacy. So we would wait for a signal from the government to suggest they're willing to see how that may work.
Shareholders might be celebrating such relentless ambition, but do the big two take advantage of their growing pricing power? That debate centres on an increasingly personal feud over food, ongoing allegations of predatory pricing and the rate of food price inflation. Is this sky high in Australia or the opposite? In its recent 6-month investigation, the ACCC gave the two market majors a clean bill of health on this, while the chairman of the ACCC, Graham Samuel, has expressed concern about the wholesale supplier to the smaller independents. More recently, he suggested those concerned about the growth of the two major supermarkets should have a Bex and a good lie down, triggering a fiery debate.
The head of the ACCC should stop taking his own medicine and actually probably should take a Red Bull and rev himself up and actually start doing the job that he's there to do. And he's been, I think, asleep on the job.
This has got nothing to do with Graham Samuel. This is the ACCC. It's all the commissioners of the ACCC. And the ACCC operates on the basis of very detailed, rigorous analysis and inquiry. It's an inquiry that's reflected in 650 pages of report that was undertaken by us. And substantial public inquiries, substantial public investigations, and we will not be swayed by the dollar quotas that are out there.
Well, the ACCC analysis of food inflation in the OECD, with respect, is very shallow and superficial. I've looked at the OECD numbers over the past 20 years, the past 10 years, and consistently Australia has had the highest level of food inflation during that time.
These numbers are all capable of various statistical manipulations, if you like, but what we've looked at in the course of the report that we undertook last year is what occurred over the past 5 years. And I think we rank at about number 11 out of 28 of the OECD countries.
Australia is unique. Nowhere else in the world do two large retail giants have as much market share as what they have here in Australia. In the US, for example, Walmart are frowned upon having 15% market share.
Our success is really predicated upon the Australian community and the consumer. You know, if they don't want us to be in a particular segment, then we won't be successful.
To drive out that competition is one of the catch cries of the duopoly, and to make sure that they don't have to push their prices down, that they indeed can dictate those prices, makes it for an awful lot of pressure on those independent retailers that are the last line of defence for consumers.
It all makes that promise of the election campaign a fast-fading memory.
We'll establish a petrol price commissioner and a national inquiry into grocery prices to make sure working families are not ripped off.
Now the inquiries are over and the ACCC is left facing the music. Its chairman remains hopeful that government pledges to change planning laws will encourage new competition, while the ACCC itself continues to discuss changing covenants in shopping mall leases that ban competition for big supermarkets.
Be it Coles or Woolworths or the IGA group or others that are involved with these restrictive covenants. Now, we are, I think, getting to a point where they will go. I can't say how long it will take, but I'm hopeful that it will be very, very soon.
The idea is this will allow foreign supermarket chains in Australia to flourish, but some aren't holding their breath.
We're not satisfied that enough progress is being made. You know, the ACCC talk about taking action on creeping acquisition, on restricted covenants, on other issues. Well, we haven't seen any action yet, so it doesn't really fill us with much confidence.
The ACCC has become part of the problem. The ACCC is becoming dismissive of these issues when in reality there are real problems in the sector where consumers are being ripped off through geographic price discrimination.
They will provide a quote whenever a microphone is thrust in front of their mouths. I say to them, produce your data, produce your analysis, go beyond the simple one-line rhetoric that you keep putting out there over the radio waves and show us the research that you've undertaken, because that's what we're really interested in.
Greg Hoy reporting.